Welcome back again, guys, from Tampa Bay. This morning I'm going over to Tampa to do a fun test ride on the demo days for the Can-Am Spyders. Really excited because I am anxious to ride one and have a little fun. My appointment's at 11. They want me there a little bit early, and I'm actually in a little bit of a hurry because I got stuck on a client phone call for the last half hour, and I wanted to be on the road about 15 minutes ago. Should be okay. Should get there with about 10 minutes to spare. But didn't want to cut it that close. Not a big deal, though. I remember when they first came out several years ago now, and I thought they were really neat. Saw, I think, a YouTube advertisement for them or something, maybe a review. I thought, man, that is really badass. And then I saw them on the street, because there were a lot of people around here that got them right away. First generation. I'm not going that way because that oil slick is still very new. And as soon as I encountered them and my little Mini Cooper blew them away, well, that immediately stopped any thoughts of interest in even possibly getting one. Slow. They used really crappy repurposed engines, very low on power. Still looked cool, but sorry, just way too slow. Not anywhere close to motorcycle performance. But now, the current generation, all new, everything. New frames, new controls, new body panels, new suspensions, brand new purpose-built engines, triple cylinders, instead of little twins, lots of power, much, much better performance. They're getting great reviews. So now, I want to see how they do. And you know, I take some flack on my bike review videos because people think I'm comparing everything to my bike. And when I mention things that are similar, or a control, or I say something like compared to the FJR, I'm not comparing it as in better or worse. I'm using a frame of reference. For example, the gear position indicator on the Polaris, the Victory. I keep calling it Polaris because I'm used to dealing with watercraft, and Victory is a Polaris brand, so it's just in my head because it's just the way I think about their company. But the gear indicator on that Victory I rode, it uses an interpretive sensor, meaning it's reading the shaft speeds to guess what gear you're in. So it has a bit of a delay, a couple seconds sometimes, to actually give you a display for the gear. And sometimes it's blank. Whereas the position indicator on my bike is off the lever itself, so it's instantly changing. It has nothing to do, there's no delay. See, 4, 5, instantly, just by moving the lever. That's the way it should be, and that's the way most bikes out there do it. But those bikes that use that predictive computerized display, in my opinion, suck. They could easily do it this way. It's not a patented technology. They just chose to do it the other way. It's probably a lot cheaper just to stick a sensor reading a shaft speed than making something mechanical that goes to the lever itself. So they chose to do it. It doesn't work as well, and that's all there is to it. So that's what I mean when I say compared to the FJR. I'm not comparing the way the rides bike, or the way the bikes ride, or you know, any kind of seating position being better than the other. That's what I'm talking about. So anyway, today I don't really have expectations. Obviously it's not a motorcycle, it's a three-wheeled design, and it's got the two wheels in the front. I've ridden trikes with the two wheels in the back, the older designs. Gosh darn it, I forgot to check my tire pressure again. That is one thing, you know, somebody mentioned I should do a video on things I don't like about the FJR. I don't think I could do a video on that because it's just a couple real tiny little things. One of them is the lack of a tire pressure monitor. I don't know why bikes don't incorporate that from the factory yet. That would be such a important and useful thing, especially on a bike that's used on trips. I can feel my back tire is a little bit squishy. I'm debating now. I can't. I would have to use the compressor that's in my bike, because the ones at the gas station really don't fit on the bike. There's usually the ones with the big flexible tip, and you need the one with the angle tip to get in the wheels. Anyway, like I was saying, I've ridden the trikes with the two wheels in the back, so I know how those feel. And I'm from Michigan. I'm familiar with snowmobiles. They got the two skis in the front, and I've read people's opinions that the Can-Am Spyder is kind of like the snowmobile for the road. So maybe it's going to feel like that. I have a lot of experience with all kinds of watercraft, especially jet skis, so I know those handle, but I don't think it's going to handle quite like that. However, the lean might be similar, because you don't lean like you do on a motorcycle. It's a flat corner. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Oh, wow, that feels... Maybe I'm just on soft. No, I'm on standard. All right, I got to stop at a gas station up here, because that does not feel good. Just leaning into this curve. Yow. I'm almost wondering if I have a nail, because that's kind of obvious. Wow, yeah, just going over that little reflector. Something made kosher. Stand by. Okay, aired up. At least close enough. Luckily, this Hess here by the Walmart not only has free air, which is really rare around here, it has an adapter that fits motorcycles well. It's a really long, flexible tip that you can work in there and bend 90 degrees no problem. Yeah, I was low, about 20 pounds low. I knew it, I could feel it. It was really obvious, and I said it last week when I forgot to check it last week that it was starting to feel low, and I can start to feel it about 10 pounds low. So I'll make sure when I get home to do it right with my good gauge and make sure everything's perfect. So, on to Tampa. I'll pick this up when I get over there, and we'll start the demo ride of the Can-Am Spyder. Well, we should be getting pretty close. I think it's just before the next light up here on the left. I passed a big group of the other riders going the other way a few minutes ago. Looked like there were about 20 in the group. Looked pretty cool. Never been to this particular dealer because it's way out here in Tampa, but this is where they had the demo ride today, so this is where I am. Most of the dealers I deal with are over in Pasco or Pinellas. I'm in Hillsborough County right here. And let's see, there's the light. It's Tampa Power Sports. Give them a little plug. Just passed a gas station. It was $1.82. I just filled up for $1.88, and I thought that was great. Man, it's just plummeting. Very cool. I wonder if we'll ever see the day of under $1. I think I'm the last generation that grew up with it under $1. I remember driving down to Florida from Michigan, and it cost me $120 round trip. It was awesome. Yeah, here we go. Not sure where to turn in. Kind of a goofy thing here. I'll let him go. Shit. Not the best spot. I think I'm gonna have to do a loop. Yeah, not the best spot by any means for a driveway. Did not feel it cutting across oncoming traffic there and becoming one of the idiots you see on YouTube. go have some fun.
Alright, well, I got about 15 minutes to spare. Check some of the stuff out here. They got some customized ones here. That looks pretty cool. It's got like a Spider-Man thing going on the seats. I think this is somebody's ride because it's got some wear on it. It's got some, looks like bag protectors. I am not familiar with every one of the options these things have, but they have a ton of them. It's got a little lower spoiler on the front there. I love the suspension. Looks like an old Indy car almost, with all the exposed parts. I know they have tons of wheel options. Those look pretty cool. I dig those. That's nice. I like this color too. It's a dark burgundy and the black. It's a big machine. Very nice comfy back seat, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the some up front here. It's a nice flat black on this Vulcan.
Service 801, service 801.
All kinds of colors. It's like an electric windscreen. Oh, this one's used. Definitely used. A lot of sun fading. Alright, these are all the used ones up here. Ooh, this one looks badass. This has got to be a new one. This is low and mean looking. Yeah, see, this is the new style. Much better. Much more aggressive looking, huh? I like this. Love that grille. Even cooler suspension. Spyder F3-S. Definitely going for the sport, not the touring or comfort. Big belt drive. Very minimal. Cool looking exhaust. Twin triangles. That's neat. I like that. Let me get on this. See how the seat feels. Oh, it's very rubbery and squishy. Very much like a snowmobile. It feels like a jet ski. It really does. It's very conforming. It's narrow in the front. It's got this lip in the back, but extremely spongy and squishy, just like a jet ski or, like I said, a snowmobile. Not like your typical motorcycle seat. So I bet it's pretty comfy. This is pretty cool. Look at all these crates. That's crazy. Got a little concourse here. This is probably where they teach us the basics. Got a mean looking black machine up here on the course. Oh, that's neat. The exhaust has a nice looking chrome tip on the end of it. That looks even better than the black. It's another F3-S. Same as that other one. Man, I'll tell you, that is badass in black and chrome too. I like it even better than the white. Very cool machine. And you know, for what it is, not that expensive. 20, 25, 30 grand depending on what you order. Nice.
Alright. Dion, right? Wait to get on the road. Brakes are totally different on the brake. Brian?
Yep.
Speed up. Put on the brake. Key. Mode. And start. Okay, both hands on. You can turn that way. Towards me. Straighten it out. Foot on the brake. Parking brake down. Shifter into first. Okay, real easy on that drive. I'm going to wave you forward. Good, one more time. Okay, go for it. Nice and easy.
It's pretty cool. do have to get used to turning it full lock to lock and the throttle. Luckily, my bike is also ride-by-wire, so I'm used to the twitchiness of it. No problem there.
Okay, park and brake up. Another 5 right here. Don't believe we have any more semi-auto 5. You know how to drive manual? You want, okay, 1 down, 5 up. You want that one? Good jump on? You guys can fire them off. 1 down, 5 up.
Yep.
Fire them up.
Well, bummer. I didn't get the semi-auto because they only had 1. That's kind of dumb. So I'm on the standard here. Okay, got the gear position indicator. Tell you, the only thing I don't like right off the bat is steering it in a parking lot standing still. It is really quite the effort. Definitely not something anyone elderly could do. So right away that eliminates this for my parents. Which is a bummer, but I know it's still going to be fun to ride. If they ever come out with any kind of power assist. Ready?
Park and brake off?
Yep.
Perfect.
If they ever come out with, yeah, they could easily do an electric power assist. I think that would be really cool. I'm gonna have to get used to this right foot brake. There isn't a lot of feel in it through my boot. I'll get used to it. I really wanted to ride one with that transmission, see what it was like. It was an auto downshift, manual upshift. So that seemed pretty cool. It's got quite a bit of torque. 96 foot-pounds at the crank, and I'll tell you what, I'm not giving it any throttle, and it's whipping around no problem. We're at 6 miles an hour, so it's got almost as much idle speed as my bike, which does 7. The bike, of course, has just about the same torque. This has, I think he said 116 horsepower, and it weighs 750 pounds. So it's got some weight to it, but good torque. Very comfy seat. It is squishy. It's got a real nice little lip to it. So it hugs you, keeps you nice and planted. A very wide stance for the legs. Even though the seat is narrow, your legs are really splayed out, but that's good for me. Now this does have fully adjustable foot pegs, and that's why they were kind of matching us up there, because all but 2 of us were tall, so we're on the number 5 adjustment for the nice long leg pegs, and I have to say they are very comfy. They also have floorboards, of course, if you want those. Lots of rubber on the foot pegs there. The ride is very comfy. It definitely has some sway. That's pretty cool. It sways just like a snowmobile. You can feel the suspension in the front twisting, and of course your body moves. This road is in excellent condition, so I can't tell you how it is over bumps yet. Well, there's a manhole. Not bad. Very comfy over the manholes. A lot less of a shock than on a bike, at least with a sporty suspension. Of course, these have big car tires in the back, so that's kind of to be expected when they weigh a fraction of a car. Now I'm in 6th gear, 2,000 RPM at, say, 35 miles an hour. Give it full throttle here. No chugging. No problem whatsoever there. Trying to stay up close before we get to the more spread out areas so we don't get caught by the lights. I got the last guy in back of me See how the downshifting is? Very nice. A little bit of a snick. No big clunk. Goes right into gear. We're in second gear here at 5,000 RPM, 40 miles an hour. Very smooth. There's no buzz. I feel a little bit of vibration through everything, the foot pegs, the handlebars, but it's not annoying at all. Just lets you know it's running, basically. Not a big difference between 6th and 5th pulling. I can hear the exhaust open up when it gets up around 5 there, opening it up in 4th. Let's try 3rd. Much better. Much better there. Now we're getting more into bike performance. Kind of chill out here a little bit. Got a little bit of a wider lane now to play with. It does self-center very well. It tracks straight. I don't feel the need to have to be holding the handlebars to make it go anywhere. So it's got a good alignment. It sounds strange to say that about a quote-unquote motorcycle. Riding position itself, I'm going for the front brake. I'm just kind of letting off. It has very good compression braking, even in 6 here. The riding position itself, very comfortable, very cruiser-like. Of course, there's no windscreen on here. This is a brand new model, by the way, the F3. That's the reason they're doing this particular ride demo, is to promote this bike. He said it's going to be in dealers shortly. Man, that's a weird feeling, having that lean. It's been a long time since I've been on the water or been on snow, but it's already familiar again to me. I've got a nice straight back, excellent bar reach, nice comfortable bent elbows. There's no pressure on my shoulders, which is a good thing because I've got some torn muscles still and they're not quite healed. Kind of hurts me a little bit to ride the bike right now, but this is absolutely no discomfort. Good wind protection. I'm not really feeling much on my legs. Of course, I feel it on my arms and my face without a windscreen. But as I was saying, this is brand new. And they said they're going to have a ton of options for this, like the other models. Bags, back seats, windscreens, all kinds of custom add-on stuff. They have, at least for the current models, a huge catalog of additional parts, so I have no doubt this will be exactly the same. Obviously at a light, totally easy for just about anybody to ride. Like I said, that steering, man, that takes some effort. Uh-oh. This guy had his turn signal on and he's got a lot of space between the guy in front of him. I thought he was having a problem there. But if this had some kind of electric steering, oh my God, it would be so easy for anybody. But I'm telling you, it does take effort. Definitely takes effort. You know, the Gold Wings, to appeal to the older riders, because they're heavy, they're just like this. This one is in the middle. He said this is 750. The base model is, I think he said 680, and then the larger ones go well over 1,000. I didn't ask him if the larger ones had reverse, but the Gold Wings do, just for that reason. Nice little maneuverability there. I just did that quick flick. It doesn't take much at all to steer this thing. Just a tiny little bit of input. Let's see, they're probably gonna, yeah, split here, I was gonna say. I don't think everyone was gonna gun it through that light. Now I'm gonna go into neutral, something you don't do on the semi-automatics. They showed us a video detailing all the differences between riding a motorcycle and riding this. Went into the obvious things like, you know, the stability and leaning the other way and not counter steering, all that kind of stuff. But the semi-automatic models had their own things you had to do. Specifically, at a light, you don't go into neutral. In fact, it only does that itself when you set the parking brake. You just leave it in first and keep your foot on the brake. But on this model, which is obviously a standard shift, it's just like any other motorcycle, and you can go into neutral anytime you want, which I prefer. Wow, the tracking on this, it's really leading me around. I've got my left tire purposely kind of between these two bits of pavement. It's not a lip or anything, but it's really catching it, and I can feel the grooves in the road, and it is steering me left and right quite a bit. Not a problem, just something I'm noticing. And again, when I say things like that, I'm not complaining. I'm just experiencing it, so I'm letting you guys know because it's on the video. Nice corner here. Ha! I almost, I don't think I did, but I almost felt like that right wheel was coming off the ground because the suspension loaded up on the left. And of course, all the weight was going to the outside. Come on, dude. Oh, yeah, beautiful acceleration. That was just a little half throttle roll on, low RPMs, tons of torque. Got me right up there. No hesitation. Very smooth engine. Day and night from the old Bombardier engines, the old twins they used. This thing's great. I want to say Porsche had a hand in the design. Wow. Great torque in 6 at 3,000 RPM. That seems to be the minimum for it having good to great performance. Here at 2, it's okay. But 3, it starts to wake up. That's nice. Let's go down into 2nd and give it a go. Okay. This is your typical cruiser power band. Definitely runs out of steam above 6,000. It's got a red line there at 7.5. It went to 8. But you could feel the power very quickly taper off. Great low end torque though. So not like a sport bike, definitely like a cruiser, which is fine. Especially when you have such a heavy vehicle. I'm going to run it through first here and see how it does just totally running it. Okay, that was really cool. First gear, you couldn't feel the power drop off at all the way to the red line. Very soft rev limiter there. I hit it in 2nd. I could just start to feel it. Just start to feel it in 2nd. It wasn't as pronounced as that at speed acceleration run. So it has enough power in the low gears where you don't notice that lack of high end. That's nice. That's a good balance. So you'd probably only notice that if you're doing really high-speed highway redlining, which isn't going to be that often. I'm going to bet most of the time you take it to redline, you're doing it from a stop, just like that. And in that case, you don't feel a damn thing. Man, I really dig this steering. It is so precise. Okay, now that time I leaned into the inside corner and that wheel didn't come up nearly as much. So you definitely want to put some lean into it. Let's give it a roll on here 2nd. Yeah, that's fine. That is just fine. You can't notice that at all in 2nd. Excellent. They did a great job. Dash is easy to read. Got a big speedo readout on top there, tachometer on the bottom. The tachometer is a very slow change, and the big thing is it only jumps in 50 increments. It's not intuitive to read, I have to say. Some type of sweep, whether it's an LCD or a needle or a digital needle or something, would have been, oh, what am I saying? I'm talking about First of all, I'm talking about the display in the middle, the tachometer. They could just eliminate that because you got the needle sweep on the right, but the one in the middle only jumps up by 50 increments, and because it spells the whole thing out 2,500 RPM, you can't just glance at it and have it really mean anything, as opposed to the needle on the right where you just glance at it and you know what you're at. It's a little distracting to have something constantly changing on the dash. If that were just a big 49, you know, for the speedo there, that would be a lot better in my opinion. And then you got the gear indicator on the bottom, little temperature bar on the left, gas gauge bar on the right, and an odometer down below that. That's all fine, all standard stuff. It's got a good exhaust note. I could definitely see people putting a different pipe on it to wake it up. You can start to hear it. If I downshift a little bit and give it some go, you can start to hear a nice little howl right there, right about 5,000 RPM. At wide open, see if you can pick it up. It's got some harmony to it. You can hear the dual pipes working. That's a really nice sound, but it's only there between 6,000 RPM at wide open. That is a really nice sound. Other than that, it's very quiet. It's got a little bit of a growl to it. It's not a high-pitched whine like some inline 4s, but there's no thump at all. There's no percussion, there's no bark. The actual tone is very mellow, and it's very quiet. Even at wide open, very quiet. I can hear it, but it's not going to wake anybody up, you know what I mean? Got a, looks like a kilometer scale. I hope it's a kilometer scale because it goes to 200 on the left speedometer there. Now they said these turn signals are self-canceling for turns, not for merging. And it works just fine. Guys in front of me didn't turn off though. There, he canceled it. Mine are working just fine. And the guy in front of him are working just fine. Same as Harley, basically. And I mentioned earlier, I couldn't do a video on things I don't like about the FJR because there's just a few little things. That's one of the little things. I wish it had self-canceling turn signals. Another little thing is I wish it had more LED lights. It's got front-running lights, but it doesn't have LED brake lights. It doesn't have LED headlights, which a lot of bikes do these days, and that makes a huge difference. Other than that, I love it. But self-canceling turn signals, come on. They've been around forever. They should be on every bike. There's no reason for it. Certainly on a freaking $17,000 motorcycle. And I don't have it. And this does. And it works great. Clutch pull is very good. It is adjustable for the reach. Obviously no brake lever to comment on. Brake feel is exceptionally good. You don't even have to think about it. That's how good it is. I think he's wanting us to do some full throttle runs or something. He's all waiting for us. There's no sponginess to the brakes. On the road there, they just work. You just put your foot down and it feels completely normal. I don't have to think about it. So that's the best compliment I can give to it. It just works. You don't have to think anything special. Shifter itself, it's actually better than my bike. A lot smoother. No clunks whatsoever. Very easy. Downshifting into first here. And a nice lean. It does have quite a bit of engine compression. That was no braking. And it continues to really pull you down all the way to 6 miles an hour. Beautiful scenery. They picked a nice little loop for us here. Nice twisties. Not much traffic. Now on these back roads, again, it's kind of pulling me around in the lane because you do have the dips for car tires. Transmission has a really good solid feel to it, much like a Harley. It just feels like the gears in it are substantial. Not like a sport bike. Very confidence inspiring. Still loving the seat, absolutely zero discomfort. My legs are comfortable. I do feel contact on the inside of my knees, but I did see that they had additional pads you can install, and now I know why. that would kind of bug me. A little bit of a high-speed turn there. It has some oversteer. That front end wants to grab. It's not that the rear is kicking out, but it feels like there's a lot of toe in. So as I was decelerating a little bit in that corner, it was pulling me in tighter. I wish I could go around that corner again and see what it did while I was accelerating. So quite a aggressive, I was going to say advanced, quite an aggressive suspension setup, which is cool. And here we are at a light. It's going to neutral. See, I love putting my feet down. It's a lot more comfortable to sit here with my feet down than up on the pegs, which you have to do if you have the semi-automatic. So I'm kind of glad I have the manual here. Have to say, totally enjoying the manual. It works great, no complaints whatsoever. Me personally, I wouldn't feel a lot of people would want that feature, but the manual is fantastic. Really digging it. All right, back on Highway 41. Back to the dealer. Okay, I gave it a little gas around there, and you can definitely control the amount of under and oversteer. That's pretty cool. A lot of fun. When you do accelerate, the rear end doesn't squat that much. I don't feel it coming down. I don't feel the front end getting floaty. I kind of expected it would, but nope. Feels very planted. Let's go over these bumps here. Nice brake modulation. I stepped on it pretty quick there because that light changed. It was very easy to find the spot. Just kind of pumping it a little bit. Didn't feel like it wanted to grab it all. Very cool. Not much handlebar shake at all at idle. Nothing like a Harley. Not smooth. It's got a little vibration. You just feel the idle. Not a problem though. Feel a little bit through the seat. Not a whole lot. Come on, light. There we go. Catch back up to the other two guys. They pulled over up ahead here a little bit. Great acceleration through third here. Tons of torque. 5,000 RPM. Love that sound. That's awesome. Fourth. Oh yeah, just opening it up at fourth. Doesn't do it much at 4,000 RPM. Sure does at 5. I'm going to keep my RPMs up a little bit here. Let's get a different feel for it. I know how it does at 6 just cruising along. Nice mirrors too, very nice mirrors. I can easily see completely around me. I see the guy in back of me in both mirrors, so there's plenty of wraparound room. Normally I see a little bit of my arms, even on my bike, and on most bikes it's useless, it's a side view. But these are truly excellent, and it looks like they fold too. Don't know why you'd want to, since it's not the widest point of the vehicle. Now cruising up in these high RPMs, there is a lot more vibration. Feel it through the foot pegs and the grips especially. Let's drop it down to 4,000 RPM, so this is somewhere where you'd be cruising in top gear on the freeway if you're doing 80 miles an hour. Still a little bit of vibration in the grips. Might want to put some grip weights on them. And I feel it through the foot pegs. Cruising around town, a lot smoother. I wish we could take it on the freeway, or at least, you know, higher speeds, so I could get a feel for what it's really like in top gear at cruising RPM. But I have a feeling that's right about how it would be. Maybe in the 3,000s, but even here at 3,500, it's a lot more vibration than if I kick it down to 6 at 2,000. 2,000 is butter smooth. I don't feel the grips vibrating at all. Nothing in the pegs. But you get above 3 and you do start to feel some. Like I said though, it's not bad. Just be aware of it. It's strange being in the middle of the lane. I tend to avoid it on the bike just because of oil droppings and stuff like that. And when I'm behind a car at a light, I like to be kind of pointing in between just in case, you know, somebody's coming up behind me. Whatever pulls up behind me at a light, I'm watching it in the mirror until it's stopped, just in case. Can't do that here. If somebody's going to plow into you, they're going to plow into you. There's no way to avoid that. Pretty Spartan as far as the looks, but again, this has no options. You can customize it any which way you want. Obviously a lot of different colors. I think we've got 5 different color schemes for the same model here right on this demo ride. I'm sure there's others you can order. Love that sound, man. Trying to remember what car it reminds me of, because I've definitely heard that sound. You know, it's almost like the V10 sound, that metallic rasp / growl sound. Just a lot tamer, but that's definitely what it reminds me of. It's just the 2 different pipes hitting their frequency harmony. It works. Can't tell where we are. I think we are coming down on the other side of the freeway, and then we're going to loop around to the right so we don't have to do that U-turn that I did coming down the road that the dealer's actually on. I don't really come down here that much. This runs parallel. This is US 41, runs parallel to 275. And then the dealership is on another road that's parallel right on the other side of 275. It's Business US 41. Grand Prix Tampa, a really, really cool go-kart course. If you're ever in Tampa and you've got kids or anything, they also have a huge arcade, batting cages, all that kind of stuff. But their claim to fame is their go-kart course. It's huge and it's a ton of fun. Definitely check them out if you're in the area. And if you're over in Pinellas, there's an even better one that uses indoor electric go-karts that are phenomenally fast. I mean, like faster than a bike acceleration, and just pushes you back into the seat. It's insane. It is a workout. You do 5 laps and you're coming away out of breath and sore. It's awesome. Yeah, this is our street. Can't really do anything or get a feel for much, just kind of putzing down the road like this, but I'm glad we went out into those little bit of twisties and more rural area, because that was a lot of fun. Definitely glad I went to this. If you have a demo ride in your area, and I'll share this too, if you're looking for events, things to do, poker runs, rides, meetups, or anything like that, a great website that I found and used to do all this stuff is lets-ride.com. You can click on your state, and it seems to be the site that collects the most stuff. You know, around here there's always a ton of stuff, but it was, until I found that site, almost impossible to find things because there wasn't a central source, and that is an excellent one. Around here I can find on any given weekend 4 or 5 different rides in my area that I want to do, and this was on there, so that was very easy to find. I would imagine that if any demo rides are in your area, they'll have it on there too. That's also how I found the one for Victory a few months ago, and there's some more coming up. Of course, I'm going to hit every one I can, so there you go, check that out. Almost back to the dealer here, another block. It's funny, taking off just off idle, it really sounds and feels like an ATV. It's got that, but once you get it above 2,000 RPM, it's more like a motorcycle. It still doesn't sound or react quite like a motorcycle, even a cruiser. You know, the transmission definitely feels like it, power band definitely feels like it, but the engine feels like a big ATV with a lot more power. It is super comfy to ride, man. If they would just give some steering assist, they could get just about anybody to ride this. And once you're moving, there's no problem steering it. Like even here around the corner, no problem. Easy peasy. But when you are stopped, there is a lot of resistance. It's just no doubt about it. Obviously no problem for us, but like I said, someone with any kind of issue or elderly, I could see it being a problem. Man, that was a cool ride. That was really different and neat. It was a lot better than I expected. I mean, I expected differences and all that, but that was really cool. Okay, parking brake on. Now let's go to neutral. Parking brake on. Turn it off. Key off. Bada bing, bada boom. Nice. All right, time to head home. That was really cool. Feels weird to sit on the bike now. It feels so small, which I never thought I'd say about an FJR. I got to get used to where the shifter is now. It's a totally different angle. Let Mr. Goldwing in there. Head on home. Woo! Well, even though the Spyder has a lot of power, no comparison to a really fast bike. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.